Hey, what is up, everybody? Hunter Orel here, and we are back after a long hiatus of almost a week. Actually, it has been a week since the last Morning Mint. This is the Morning Mint, the only morning talk show that doesn't cure bad breath. I'm stealing that from my Discord member. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm still recovering from my cold. I've got some coffee here next to me. I'm out on the West Coast right now. And yeah, I'm going to try to cover everything as quickly as possible before I lose my voice again. If you can't tell, it is barely there right now. But yeah, thank you to everybody who has helped me out over the last 7 days, not only keeping me in the loop, but having some empathy for, some personal stuff taken care of, being out of town, getting sick. It means a lot to me. And yeah, there's just been a lot that's happened. It's been a stressful, a lot of ups and downs, lots happening. The transition from, having a job to full-time NFT, getting involved in so much, working on so many different projects, so many different DAOs, and kind of just understanding like where my limits are have been interesting over the last couple of weeks here. So just thank you to everybody. With that said, we'll jump into what I've missed over the last week. I've been, trying to keep up, and we'll try to just wrap it all up into one video here. So we had the hundreds reveal that finally happened. Metadata is not out yet, but we did see Bobby post something in the Discord last night, saying that it's not too far off. Also kind of just saying like, don't, there's a lot of stuff out there as far as like metadata and like rarity tools that are not correct. Those are, purely fan-based. They're not accurate. It's kind of up to the eyes of the beholder right now still what is, rare and what isn't rare, what's valuable. I think the floor here is around like 0.2. So still a little bit above original mint price. I have a lot of hope in this project just because of, the way they're rewarding holders. If they are to sell a bomb as a t-shirt, they do get some of that revenue split back, which is really exciting to see. But also, Bobby's been working on this project for 18 years. Like, this is 18 years in the making. It isn't something that just got spun up for an NFT project. We're talking about a huge national known brand, global streetwear. And yeah, I just have high hopes for this. I still hold all of mine except for one that I sold that I got somebody offered me something that I couldn't say no to. And yeah, so definitely keep an eye out on the project. If you're looking for something to hop into, this is definitely quality, but affordable. It's only 0.2 that I think people can get into. Other news, something I probably should have led with. Blute launched last Friday. I was on an airplane, actually traveling the whole day while these discussions were happening, and actually Mint going, the free distribution model going out while I was up in the air, landing. By the time I got to my hotel and fell asleep, things had taken really off on their own. If you aren't aware, Blute is a project that Beanie, Tropo, Dylan, myself, have been working on. It's a credible parody is the term I would use, much akin to Cards Against Humanity. We looked at what Loot had done and essentially tried to come up with a project that was a parody, but at the same time, much akin to like the Pepe meme, something that would kind of have sides, kind of make some people feel something. But I think at the end of the day, it really does represent way more than the words on a green square. I think it's a community. It's a very strong community. The rewards from being in it have been pretty interesting from a creator standpoint. Like to see all these different projects pop up and say, if you have a Blute, you get this access, or you get a free to mint. We even saw the Unicorns project this morning. Uninterested Unicorns declare that if you own a Blute, you get early access to their pre-mint, which is going to be highly competitive. So like being able to mint one of those and flip it essentially could pay for your Blute. So it's really cool to see those projects coming out. We definitely have a lot of stuff in the works, and merch has been talked about. On top of that, with Blue, there was a coin that was done by an anonymous dev called Beagold. Beagold is really an interesting story. In the drama of it, there were about 10 million coins that were pre-minted or pre-mined, and then 5 million of those were sent to Beanie, and then the other 5 million apparently after pressure were sent to Artchick. Artchick then, not even knowing she had these coins, contacted by potentially the original dev or somebody, asked to send them back. She complied. Like, she has these tokens accidentally sent to her. Why not? She sends them back, and then instantaneously, those coins were then sent off to Tornado, and then dumped on the market. So, it's interesting from the perspective of, we've seen some drama. There's been, obviously, there has been drama around the project from not only the Beagold standpoint, but Blute. But I think at the end of the day, both of this kind of signifies like what happens when you give the power to the community. Like, the creators aren't providing the value; it's everybody else who is, as well as like there was no official currency for Blute. This was completely done anonymously. People were able to claim this. Like, there were people who made $10,000 claiming their Beagold at the peak. So I do think that there's still much more to come for the project. It's at the end of the day, it's basically worthless is the the motto here. But I wouldn't say that it's this is definitely not a pump and dump. There has been effort put into it. We are helping build a community around it. The Pepe meme culture stuff still lives in strong, and I think that's what we'll see this evolve into is something that the community can actually have, like, hey, I'm a Blute holder, and it gives you special access to things. So it's been really cool. Definitely some ups and downs on it. Obviously Pranksy, not enjoying it. But I think the positivity is there. We are helping a lot of different foundations. New York Fashion Week account has done some really cool stuff with the green urns. Each of those sales donating part of the proceeds to cancer research. And this has been really cool. Like, thousands of dollars have been raised for cancer research through Blute and through New York Fashion Week account. I should link that below. And there are other accounts doing similar things where, we're donating to charity, foundations are being formed. And it's just cool to see that, the people that are within the Blute community that believe in it are building and hoping to enact change and positivity. And that, even though there may be some people that are spreading some negativity around, in the general, the net is definitely positive. So really happy to see that. Into other news, the Ethereans releasing and revealing. I'm a big Tony Herrera fan. He was an advisor, friend, and obviously he was at the steering wheel for the project. Really cool to see this project get revealed. It looks really cool. The floor currently sitting at 0.06. It's been one of those projects where, like, we've been waiting and waiting and waiting. And it's just cool to see it come out. It definitely has that like 3D Super Yeti like vibe to it, that look. Probably not the comparison they want to hear based on, the FUD that always gets thrown at Super Yetis. But like it looks cool. They're very interesting looking. I love the realistic look. So they're sitting at 0.06. You can see, obviously volume spiked just before reveal, and then after reveal, average price has just been dipping down, floor dying off as well. Activity still staying strong, within the last couple hours, still having a couple dozen sales, looking at like the point up to 0.5. So we're staying in like 0.5 to 0.1, the average sale price, and then some at the floor, being picked off. So yeah, definitely keep an eye on that. Congrats to Tony and the team. We like to see it. Another project that was brought up by Dimitri bringing up these captures that were shared by Monica. Monica showing these generative art pieces that'll be coming out in an upcoming curated drop. I'm not sure what the exact day for this drop is. Definitely keep a lookout on it though. it's just beautiful. I think that once we start to get away from these block drops, that was an early concern for Jeff at Art Blocks, is that, customers and, internal community members were saying, hey, there's too many blocks. So if you look at like aerial views, that was, squares. If you look I'm trying to think like other projects off the top of my head now that I put myself in the spot. But there were a lot of projects that just utilize squares. It's a very easy shape to draw. It's very easy to work with. You don't have to worry about, anti-aliasing. You don't have to worry about, shapes or faces or portraits. It's pretty simple. But you can get very complex with it. I'm not trying to take away from any of those projects. You can get very complex. That being said, projects like this that are like very much different than anything else we see, which are like simple shapes and geometry. This is like a wallpaper generator. Very cool. So I'd keep an eye on this. Thank you, Dimitri, for sharing this, bringing us to everybody's light and vision. Looking forward to that drop. Another drop that you probably might have heard about was the Sevens drop. The Sevens drop, I saw gas. Actually, this says gas peaked at 8,000 Gwei. I saw it far higher, I believe, at one point. I think I saw it up almost to 5 digits. I think real quick, stepping back, not even talking about Seven specifically, the way drops are being done, gas has to be, I think we're getting to the end of it. I think there's a lot of new things such as like whitelisting, sidechain maybe. Like we're getting to a point within this ecosystem and I guess maturing as a technology where these high gas drops are getting to kind of come to an end. Projects that are still going to utilize it will be looked at in a negative light, I think. I definitely think personally we've seen some projects that did have like this gas war, and it's just we're not back in July where this was like a norm. We're not back in June where like, hey, that's just part of the game. I think we're getting to a point now where it's like if you have the dev power and you have put the effort into it, you can mitigate this issue. So just a note from me, and I would be kind of wary about this. Like we've seen a lot of these high gas drops afterwards. You can buy them for far less than you would have paid on the primary mint, on the secondary. So like Sevens here, people paying 1 ETH to mint these. I'm not sure off the top of my head what the floor is. We'll look in a little bit, but I believe it's far below that original mint cost to mint. And so like these hype drives are causing all these people to buy in, and it's causing a lot of negativity. So the Sevens getting some FUD there, but that wasn't the end of the FUD for the Sevens. The high gas prices, people didn't like the art. I'm going to stay neutral there. I don't have an opinion. But the general, consensus were people were just saying they don't like the art on Twitter. The next thing being that there was somebody who went ahead, and minted 1,000 of the Sevens. There was a very elaborate, kind of like technical detail into how the contract and the limiter were, circumvented. And, it definitely left a bad taste in some people's mouths. At the end of the day, it turns out that the minter ate the cost of 500 of these and returned them back to the marketing wallet. I'm not sure. Like some people are saying that this was the Sevens doing it themselves. I'm not sure the exact who it was, or maybe it was an MEV person that figured this out. These very technical people that have access and the skills and the abilities to do this stuff. But with that being circumvented, everybody looked and said, "There's this huge whale that has 1,000 of these. How is that fair? That's not good. It's not good for the maturity of the project." So we saw that get a huge amount of FUD. So those are returned. And hopefully they'll progress from here. Definitely we'll talk a little bit more about this and what the floor and activity looks like once we get to that on the OpenSea. Another project that definitely saw a lot of gas, but I will say there has been a lot of FUD towards Tiki Bar, but I don't think that FUD is justified. I think that Frenchie has a really good head on his shoulders. He has a great vision for this project. There are cheap on secondary right now. I think as the roadmap gets released, we'll see this project start to have some demand. And I think right now we're just having, we're going through this period of like, people don't like the gas drops. They don't like this, these hype drops for these free drops. But Tiki Bar, one of the projects that, I have endorsed, Frenchie, obviously a very good friend of mine. I do want people to understand that, we want the best. This is no like pump and dump. This is no scheme. I've genuinely seen the effort that's gone into this. This isn't hey, we're trying to rush things out. This is, several months in the works, and we see an opportunity and they, decide to launch. So this project involving just like Gary Vee, a festival that happens each year. There's going to be a lot of utility to the tokens, and that there's, the ability for you to earn a royalty on a token that you own. So owning a token can allow you to get royalties down the road. And it's super interesting to see that, this could be a project with some firsts. I'm hoping this early speed bump is easily, smoothed over. We move forward, and with these next announcements, we see a lot of good coming. So much love to the TQ Bar team. I think it was just a lot of craziness at once, a lot of learning opportunities for everybody across the board. So I'm very excited for what the future holds there. What is also going to be interesting to see in the future here is the SEC deciding to spar with Coinbase. Brian Armstrong from Coinbase, the CEO and co-founder, talking about what it's been like to try to, launch these features around like earning yield on assets in Coinbase, having no issues with the SEC, going to Washington, and then as a friendly gesture, warning them, hey, we're about to go do this. We want to make sure we're within the guidelines. And the SEC replying with, if you do that, we will sue you. And them replying to the SEC, well, tell us what we need to do. What are we doing wrong? Why are these other companies allowed to do this and we aren't? And getting, radio silence back. And so it kind of seems like this whole like intimidation tactic of the SEC, where they don't want to be the ones to declare something, where they don't want to be the ones to, have to deal or enforce it. They want to let the lawyers talk. They just want to go to litigation and say, hey, like, us, the admins at the SEC, this is, stuff that's above our pay grade. We're just going to sue you. We'll turn to the lawyers and say, figure this out, do it for us, and we'll be settled in court. This is super unfair. I hope that this is, figured out. Brian is a great guy. It's a great thread. I'm sure it's pinned on his profile. Go to his profile, read the thread. Just bizarre stuff. I think they've operated well within the limits. They've definitely shown that they're not trying to do anything behind their back, and they're only being met with, really just a sketchy behavior, as he notes from this original tweet. So hoping that gets resolved as we go forward. Regarding Meta Heroes and Pixel Vault, for every Meta Hero identity that you mint, so if you claim your mint pass, you will get 2 sidekicks for free. Now, again, playing into the huge game theory that we always see coming out of Beanie Tweets and Pixel Vault, if you have this Meta Hero, this will get you 1 sidekicks mint pass, and then in addition to that, it'll get you 1 planetary DAO token, which this DAO token will also let you claim 1 sidekick for free as well. So things within like the Pixel Vault ecosystem are getting more and more complex. But I think at the end of the day, like really what this comes down to is the distribution through like, are you sitting on just a bunch of mint passes, or I claimed half and now I have half in, Meta Heroes, and now I'm going to get like, it's this very slow, like each time, like they're almost like Thanos snapping, because people are trying to play like, oh, like I want to have half, I want to have like, so I have exposure into both. But we're getting to a point though, for a lot of people, it's like you need to make a decision to either mint or not to mint, or do you hold or not hold? So I think a lot of the pricing around these things are going to start to get interesting as supply drops and demand might even increase as we start to get into more of what is to come here for the project. So super interesting. Hopefully we'll see more announcements here. It's always value packed. Always seeing Beanie drop stuff about it. So super excited to see what happens there next. Other big news, Cameron Winklevoss, as well as Tyler Winklevoss, if you can't see from those profile photos, picking up creatures and adding the laser eyes to them. This instantaneously took the creatures floor and skyrocketed it. I think it was at like 0.4, 0.5, or maybe even 0.6. I don't know. But it shot it all the way up to now, which is at 1.1. I love Danny. Danny Cole is an absolute freaking boss. Awesome art, awesome vision. There are a few people that I look at and I'm like, they are dedicated into their work. Like they are fully immersed. They live in their own universe, and we're just kind of witnessing it through what they create. Danny is one of those guys. So super excited to see that. Super excited to see the creatures get some more notice. I love the project. I have a physical piece. I have 2 creatures. Very exciting. So cool to see those guys pick it up. A project that launched over the last couple days here, Crypto Toads. I know Emmy has been a huge proponent for this, obviously telling about her friends and reaching out to me about this. But to see that we have such a cool project, especially from Super Gremlin, it's awesome. Like the community has really, really rallied around this. You could pick these up for like 0.1 at one point on the secondary, 0.2, and now we're looking all the way to almost a 1 ETH floor. I just love it. It's a cool project, and I'm excited to see all the Crypto Toads profile photos. I think this is a project that a lot of the people that buy it, it's going to go diamond hands. Not a lot of flippers right now. Obviously, when we look at the market, we'll see if the market's kind of weak. We have, a lot of stuff is down, volumes are down, average prices are down. I should have pulled it up for this, but if you look at the number of sales volume for art blocks, a couple weeks, at peak, we were looking at $70 million in sales volume. Now we're down to under $1 million, or just around $1 million in sales volume. So the markets have really kind of slowed down, taken a breath, and we're still in this period of like feeling things out. We've had that local top. A lot of people are calling the top. I even had somebody say that me selling a resignation letter was like that was a top signal. What it may be is we're definitely seeing these tops as like locals will have pullbacks, will consolidate, people will kind of get their things straight. The good projects will stay. The short-term flips that were crap will die off. And then we have the next cycle up. It's just like back in the early days of crypto when we had, these cycles of highs, demand rises, and then we slow down. We're still very early. We still only have, there's not even 1 million unique active wallets on OpenSea currently. So we're still in this very early period. Love to see the Crypto Toads. Keep an eye on that project as we go forward. Highlight the Sotheby's sale, the 101 Bored Ape Yacht Club sale, exceeding the estimate for Sotheby's. Seeing this sale go for $24.4 million. Estimates at max were at $18 million. This is great. This is a lot that gets purchased by somebody who wants to have huge exposure into this. They want to have the ability to have a whole line from floors to mids to highs to all the traits. We see laser eyes, trippy, crowns, golds, hats, diamond teeth, DMT. Like they're all within here. So if you want to have that exposure into this, easy lot to pick up if you can afford it. I had people saying that whoever won this would take this and make a movie out of the apes, or they, like Disney could pick this up and now they have exposure into this, or maybe even Bored Ape Yacht Club would turn around and buy back their own apes. it's super interesting to see. But I really am excited to see what happens with these apes. Super good for the community to see this sale go for as high as it did. So still bullish. Bored Ape Yacht Club, one of the best projects out there. And just excited for the future as always. So real quick, looking at the entire market right now, we have Loot for Adventures at number one. Over the last 7 days, doing over 22,000 ETH in volume. The floor price, though, is down from the highs almost to 20 ETH all the way down to 7 ETH to give you an idea of how much the market has kind of pulled back. CryptoPunks as well, still down from that 144 ETH high all the way down into the 90s still. So we are kind of just seeing everything kind of make their new floors, kind of consolidate, as I mentioned. Bored Ape Yacht Club down to 36. So we're under 40. We're around that 40-ish floor. The 7 sitting at 0.6 ETH on the floor. The N project 0.7. Balut 0.17. I will make a comment there real quick. If you don't like the project, don't hold it. Like, simple as that. It might sound like a little bit condescending, but I think the project definitely speaks to certain people. And I think a lot of people are expecting like, hey, what are you doing next? What are you doing next? Things will come. But I certainly don't think like if you're expecting like the most active of like what the community builds kind of like the big value here. And like I said, owning one can get you a mint for a project that otherwise you might not have been able to get. And that mint could pay for the Balut itself. But like I am interested. Like, it's been very interesting to see a lot of these people who got in that were purely in it for the flip, didn't care about the community. Were just like, hey, I'm gonna buy this because of the people that were associated with it, and I'm gonna try to make 5 ETH. They're slowly getting out, and the people that are joining are very much like, I don't care what happens here. I'm in it for the community. It's a movement. I think long term, those people will be the happiest that are coming into it with that perspective. Let's see what else we got here. Punk's comic floor is down to 5.45. I mean, really pulled back. And I think a lot of people that were expecting some big announcement to come out of last week or earlier this week are just kind of we're dying off. We're seeing a lot of people that were speculative buys. So we'll see what happens here going forward. Art blocks curated, floor almost down to 1. I think those could be, depending if it's earlier stuff. The earlier stuff will certainly always be sought after. So definitely potentially some good. There are deals everywhere throughout the market right now. If you believe the market is not, this isn't the end of NFTs and we're not headed for a 5-year bear market. You think we have we're going to consolidate a little bit and then we'll shoot up. There are so many deals in the market. Mutant Ape Yacht Club, X Copy, Atom Bomb Squad, Punk's comic, even CryptoPunks, Bored Ape Yacht Club, V Friends, not so much. V Friends floor is at 18. Big announcements coming for that over the weekend, I believe. Even I think it's gonna be tomorrow, the 11th and the 13th. So on Monday as well. Big announcements coming there, so a lot of the floor seeing a spike. And then I think there'll be announcements to like, what does having a spectacular mean? Does that get you VIP? I've heard Gary refer to VIP once or twice, so we'll be interested to see what happens there. As I mentioned, the Toads currently at 0.8. Meta Heroes 6.5. Huge pullback there. Those were up to 10 at one point. Creature World at 1.13. Monkey DAO. So Monkey Bet, another one of Beanie's projects. Super interesting, official gambling stuff. It's funny to see, kind of like the first gambling project come out. But yeah, I know there's some big names that picked up a bunch of these. 0.5 on the floor. Meebits falling all the way back to 4.21. We saw this as high as 8, pushing double digits almost. Cool Cats still kind of holding still at 4 ETH. It's been there for a while. We saw this as high as 6 at one point. CyberKong's at 2.6. I'm curious what VX is at. Oni Force way down 1.7. I think those buys will age well going into the future. Curio Card still up high in 1.13. Chem Club, we'll take a look at this as well in a second here. Inner Circle quietly launching yesterday, which is 888's project. Floor currently sitting at 0.38. World of Women 1.75. The Hearst all the way down to 10.7 ETH. Gutter Cat's down. I could go through this and read off all of these things. That's what I'm doing. But really, what you need to know is throughout the entire market, everything is pulled back. There are deals out there. There's certainly new projects that are launching. And you have to start really looking at these from what do you think is going to happen? Do you think the roadmap is good? Do you think there's value there? Those are the projects that you need to be looking at, because if, there are a lot of projects that I have not named that are not on this top 100 anymore, that I'm sure back in 200, maybe even as far back as 300 or 400, because, wait, where are Pudgy Penguins? I'm curious. I like the project, but it's fallen off, or hopefully it hasn't. Like I said, I do like the Penguins. I'm a big Penguins fan, but we are seeing some of these projects that people, weren't strong diamond hand holders or didn't see the value in it, are just dropping. And that's not to say Penguins is one of them, but it's scary that I don't see Pudgy Penguins on the top 100 anymore. There we go. Okay, they're in 18. I didn't scroll down long enough. That's good. I was concerned. But there's projects like that. I have to scroll lower and lower and lower for that. You start to see kind of pull back, and it's well, why is that happening? Is it because people don't like it? And I think it just comes down to there is no long-term value play, or it hasn't been seen, or it isn't being executed fast enough. So I look at Hashmass, this is a great project because it's early and kind of, staples what early 2021 was, and, an early project with huge collaboration. Here we have Justin Anaversano. Ideal, this is the pinnacle of photography for NFTs. One of the first projects that stapled what a photography collection looks like. This I always expect to have value. Pudgy Penguins, just for the what it stands for, I always expect to have value, because it kind of signifies a certain kind of people within the certain community of NFTs, and they look cool and they're cute and they can be branded. I look for that within projects. So with that said, let's look into those projects that we've noted here. Interesting to see that the Mega Mutant Serum has dropped all the way back to 1,000 ETH. We have seen these. This was listed at 3,400. The M2 Serum at 8.55, and then the normal M1 Serum at 3.45. So, we saw this peak at 8 to 9. We saw this peak at 25. So this is way down. This is only 50%. This is 66% down, or a little bit less than that. So there are big plays here. If we saw the market come screaming back, do we see these run back to 6 ETH floor? A 20 ETH floor, potentially. Those are the deals that I have my eyes on. For the Yacht Club, like I said, 36 ETH floor, volumes are down, average prices are down. We still are seeing stuff go for 55, Gold Jacket for 55. Let's see here, scrolling through. Just not we're not seeing crazy sales. I don't see a bunch of 100 or high, 80s, 90s sales coming through. I think it's a lot of people over the last, couple days, the week, that are just kind of hey, I'm going to make a bet. I think these come back, or I want to get into the project, and they're looking for what is the most cost effective way in. It's certainly, I think that's kind of just the market we're in right now. So not expecting a huge sales. We might see one here or there, but we're certainly not, we're not in that period where we're seeing sales within the whole price range. So the sevens, pull this up just to get an idea of where sales were at. So average price are now, like I said, in the 0.5s, even lower than that as well. Some rolling in. So 0.4 to 1 ETH. But we did see pre-reveal, 2.5 average price, 2.2, huge volume. And then ever since then, since reveal, the price has just kind of diminished. Volume has dissipated. And it'll be interesting to see what happens here. Like, can they recover from a lot of the FUD that's been thrown at them? I hope they can. I don't wish any harm to any project. I do hope that a lot of these projects that run into these early road bumps or have these issues of minting or have, a bad reaction to artwork, or there's just community FUD for no reason. Like, people are upset and, there becomes a bad narrative, that they find ways to get around it, and keep building. Because like that's kind of like the NFT community like motto and ethos, is that we really shouldn't wish harm, even if a project messes up. If that project really wants to make it right, if that project really wants to evolve, we should support them, or at least give them that second chance. Maybe be more wary or whatever, it may be. But I certainly do think that this shouldn't be if a project is really believing in what they're doing and they want to be part of the community, we shouldn't just shut them out. So I'm giving some love to the sevens. Hopefully you guys come back and prove a lot of the haters wrong. That would be epic to see. But congrats on selling out, I guess, as well. The end project, currently doing almost 9,000 ETH in volume. These have been awesome to kind of see play out as well. It's very much akin to the Bloot, and Bloot and Loot and what this project kind of stands for. So, just like it's cool to see, like, these are just random numbers. Like, they can be used in any way. Anybody can use them for what they want. It's the same way with Loot. Like, any game could come of those. What do these mean? Is a project that grabs, let's say a Loot, numbers and a Bloot. Like, what happens there? Does it take one from each? Does it generate something? The maps project, like all of these projects that are simply like, this is a tool for something else. Very interesting to see. I think we're entering this kind of new collection period. It's almost like the reverse of art blocks, or the reverse of like community builds. Like, we build for the community builds for the brand. So super interesting to see. Punk's comic, like I said, numbers are just down. I expect them to come back. This is one of the hardest value driving projects out there. So volume down, just seeing prices come down. I'm sure we'll see these take back off as more announcements come out. Art blocks curated, floor is almost at 1. Let's see, any deals out there? Chromie Squiggles down like into the single digits and low double digits. Plots down to 1. So yeah, you can pick up I think the Squiggle buys are good buys. Singularities down to 16. Aerial views coming down. Not seeing anything too crazy within here. Just it seems like just prices are a little lower. Like, crazy to see geometry runners all the way down to 4, which is under mint cost. I'm curious what the absolute floor on geometry runners are. Can you pick a cool one up? This could be a project that certainly gets slept on and just unfortunately launched at the wrong period at the wrong time. Let's see here. So the floor on geometry runners currently at 4.1. Still a super cool project. Let's see here. Can I pull up geometry runners? Let's see here. What are some of the... Is there anything interesting here? Jelly legs. Let's see. Are there any jelly legs for sale? Yeah, so even like rare stuff that, only has 32, prices are way down. And this could just be an indicator of like opportunity. This could be an indicator that, maybe Art Blocks is putting too much stuff out, or it's just, hey, the whole market's down. So it's very interesting to see a project that's as cool and unique as this one within the Art Blocks ecosystem, just kind of like sitting and simmering and not kind of popping off. But yeah, definitely keep an eye there. Mutant Ape Yacht Club, currently seeing a lot of sales within single digits. I haven't seen anything in the double digits in quite some time. So I think picking up an M2 right now could be one of your best bets. Again, Roadmap 2.0 has not come out. We're still waiting on that. I expect when Roadmap 2.0 comes out, I'm expecting whenever we see a big buying event, whenever we see an alien sale or something that drives all of, the hype factor back to come in, the surge of buying and the market to come back. We'll see all these rip in pricing. What else do we got here? Toads. Just checking on the toads. Looks like the pricing's falling back a little bit on the floor. But there's some cool toads out there. I'm gonna definitely try to pick up some 3D glasses today. Only being 2% of the supply. Let's see what the floor and 3D glasses are. Cool looking toad here. So I love the flies. I love the 3D and like the green toad. There's so many cool ones. I love it. So definitely give this project a look if you're looking for an entry into just a cool community project that supports some good people. Definitely would start here. Oni Force floors at 1.75. I think there's deals. I think there's hella deals within there. I think there's a lot of people that are sitting on stuff. They're just waiting for an offer, or they're lowering their price. We have seen a little bit of market manipulation here, so just note that this could come flying back at any moment. And we know the team's active. We know the team's thinking, and they have a roadmap, and they definitely can execute. So we're currently sitting, only under 100 sales a day, average price sitting at about 2.5 to 2. Whenever announced comes back, we'll just see this fly. It'll run back to a 5e floor on the first announcement. And then lastly, Atom Bomb Squad, as we mentioned, having its reveal, all the bombs look super cool. There's some unique one of ones. There's misprints. There was special stuff. There's stuff that looks absolutely insane. So I definitely would keep an eye here. I think as prices pull back, it's a good entry into whatever might come next for them. Again, it's a global brand. It's a global project. We like the executors that are running it. So it's worth looking into. So Punk's floor currently just under 90 at 85 ETH. There's probably about, I don't know, probably 3 dozen until 100, 100 ETH. So about like 30-ish punks until 100 ETH floor. And then it's not that thick. We could easily see a buying event here happen that would send this back up into triple digits. I do think it's just getting some footing right now. I'd be curious to see if there are any good buys that pop up. And yeah, like punks are, again, they're a very solid blue chip. Bored Ape Yacht Club's a very solid blue chip. This is stuff that will always hold value, always be sought after. And I do have some people saying that if these drop any closer to the 70s or the lower 80s, there are people that will come in and snag these up because that's their point to capitalize on the pricing. So let's see here. Recent punk sales were refreshed, see if there's anything that's sold since the beginning. Let's see. And over the last couple of days, last 7 days. Okay. So volume has really died. Wow. Okay. This is kind of the issue of being sick and not looking at the market and kind of stepping away, is like volume has died, really died. First page goes back 7 days. Like, when's the last time you could go back 7 days on the first page? Months, I think. So we did have 2 zombie sales, or a sale of the same zombie, getting picked up for 1,000, then getting flipped for 1.32. So easy 300 ETH profit for whoever did that. So if you got the money, you can make the money. I think we've seen a lot of that, like flipping here. We got one for 93, then getting flipped for 97. Probably if I look through this a little bit more, we'd see more of that. I think we just get to like skittish buyers who want to get out. They make a sale for a price that might be a little bit too low, and then it gets flipped for a quick profit. It's easy money. Let's see here. I'm just looking for any other ones we might see that were just flipped. And this isn't the first time we've done that, like seen this happen. I think that's it. But definitely a lot of these that were picked up getting relisted. Like they're not going in, hey, this isn't for sale. They're definitely getting relisted, and there's a price to pay to get them. So yeah, been a quiet, slow punk hiatus for me. It looks like. I was potentially thinking about buying one, so we'll see what happens. The one that I did have an eye on here that I thought was like the cool smiley. This is offered all the way at 200 at one point. I saw it coming down, and then it getting sold at 155. This is a really cool one that I always said like, hey, I'd pick this up because I do like the smileys. Overall, looking at the market, Bitcoin is down over the last 7 days, 10%. Ethereum is down over the last 7 days, almost 18%. We've seen a huge pullback from the highs. We saw Ethereum dip all the way down to almost 3,000. I think we even got under 3,000 at one point from the 4,000 high. Bitcoin also taking a huge pullback from the 50,000 high it had. I think a little bit of this is around, some little bit of the market probably seeing some manipulation. I know Turkey announcing that it's delaying or suspending its legal tenure of Bitcoin and Ethereum threw in some FUD. I think there's a bunch of things that play into why this is pulling back. I will say, like, long term, we all know this is going to be valuable. Ethereum and Bitcoin are blue chip. It was funny to see that throughout all of this, while everything ripped down, we had Solana ripping up 25%, and a lot of people saying like, hey, even Beanie tweeted like saying he's lost out on millions because he just doesn't want to accept Solana, and it's just does not even want to entertain it. It just goes to show you like there's more than one coin. Everything has its different taste. Obviously, you want to allocate risk-wise and, don't go all in on, the number 200,000 shitcoin that comes out onto the market because somebody's pitching you on it. Look to see what a roadmap is, who's buying it, what does that coin look like in 20 years? Does it exist? Can it exist? But yeah, right now, Bitcoin and Ethereum are both down. Good buying opportunities. We are seeing Ethereum, though. We had this pullback really hard. Let's see here if I can show this better. So we had that hard pullback all the way down into, it doesn't really show. Let me do this. So we're up here. I guess it doesn't get it because we're so far out, but we did see this dip all the way down at one point. Yeah, here we go on that morning. All the way down to 31.27. I think even at one point it went a little lower. But we are sitting at a point now where, we had this dip down, fought back, and now we're dipping it again. We'll probably start to see, does this breakout signify that we start to pull back? And are we going to fall back way down, back into the low 2000s, even into the 1700s? I definitely keep an eye on this. The range to play here is whatever this resistance line for this period is. I think it's just been broken through, so keep an eye on it. We're going into the weekend. The craziest stuff always happens on the weekend, which will be my comment. Closing this out for today. Thank you for watching. I don't know how long the show was. There's so much going on in my life. So definitely some love to the Discord, to the people that are watching this. It's good to be back. But yeah, really appreciate all the love that's been given out over the last couple of days. Discord community, the Twitter community. I love you guys so much. Hopefully I'm going to do some Twitter spaces coming up here, maybe over the weekend or whenever. I know people have missed those. But yeah, if there's anything like completely it doesn't have to be video related, it doesn't have to be Twitter related or Discord, like whatever it is, if you have feedback from me, please jump into my Discord, and I'm going to make a feedback channel, and just drop some, it could be good, it could be bad. That actually helps me a ton. So you can find the Discord link below, or go to my Twitter, and there will be links there. But like the feedback has been huge over the last week. I've gotten a lot of stuff that's made me realize things that I've adjusted, or I'm starting to adjust. But yeah, the feedback is huge and it means a lot. Guys, with that said, thank you for watching. We will catch you on the next show. And hopefully there's more that's happening next time, that is up news. We're seeing some green numbers. We're seeing things start to pop off, exciting new projects. I will highlight real quick, one project that is super cool. I'll close this out because I feel bad not bringing it up because they're such a cool project. The Uninterested Unicorns, go check them out. It's a project that I had the opportunity to host a space with this morning. The art is really cool. There's games planned. There's its own token that's planned. There's going to be a sale for this on the 13th as well as on the 14th of September. And there's different class. It's very, very, very well thought out. Great roadmap. And the guys at the helm are experienced, like Ubisoft and other leading iOS games. Like they've done it before. So I do believe in them. With that said, catch you on the next one. Peace and love, and have a good weekend.